After the age of 55, your body begins doing something that almost nobody talks about openly. Every single year, without any warning, without any pain, you lose between 1% and 3% of your muscle mass. Not because you stopped going to the gym, not because you're lazy, because of a biological process called sarcopenia. And it starts earlier than you think, progresses faster than you'd expect, and by the time most people notice it, they've already lost years of strength, balance, and independence. The weak grip that makes opening jars a struggle, the legs that feel unreliable on stairs, the recovery that takes 3 days instead of 1. These aren't signs of getting old. These are signs that your muscles are losing a battle your diet never taught them to fight. But today, I'm going to show you something that researchers at Tufts University have been quietly calling one of the most underutilized nutritional tools for muscle preservation in older adults. It's not a supplement, it's not a protein shake, it's a grain. And there's a very good chance it's sitting in a grocery store 5 minutes from your home, and you've walked right past it your entire life. Here's the frustrating truth. The pharmaceutical industry makes billions of dollars every year selling muscle-related medications, mobility aids, and fall prevention products to adults over 60. Sarcopenia is a $40 billion market, and it depends on you not knowing that this condition is largely preventable through specific nutritional strategies. The research on this grain has existed for over 2 decades. Studies from Harvard School of Public Health, Tufts University, and the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have repeatedly demonstrated its role in muscle protein synthesis, inflammation reduction, and metabolic efficiency in aging adults. Yet how many times has your doctor mentioned it? How many times did you see it featured on the front of a health magazine? Almost never, because there is no patent on a grain. Nobody profits from telling you to eat it. So I will, before I name the grain, and I will, I promise, we're getting there. I need to give you 3 pieces of context, because knowing why this works is what will actually make you use it. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you the exact daily amount, the best time to eat it, and the one common preparation mistake that eliminates almost all of its muscle-preserving benefits. But first, let me tell you about Frank. Frank is 68 years old, former electrician, spent 35 years on job sites, climbing ladders, carrying equipment, using his body every single day. Strong man his whole life. At 63, he retired. Within 2 years, he noticed something that scared him more than any health diagnosis ever had. He was getting physically smaller, not his weight. His weight actually went up slightly, but his arms looked different. His shoulders looked different. He'd catch a glimpse of himself in the mirror and barely recognize the silhouette. His handshake, which had once been his calling card, felt embarrassingly weak to him. His doctor said his blood work was fine. His testosterone was normal for his age. He was told to exercise more. What nobody looked at was what Frank was eating. A retired man living alone, he'd defaulted to easy foods. White bread, pasta, rice. Convenient, familiar, completely wrong for what his body needed at 63. When we changed one thing, just one, Frank told me 8 weeks later, I feel like I have my body back. That one thing was the grain I'm about to show you. The grain is quinoa. Now, before you click away thinking you already know this, stay with me, because I guarantee that what you're about to hear is not what you've read on any wellness blog. Quinoa is the only plant-based food on Earth that is classified as a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids that your body cannot produce on its own, including leucine. Leucine is the single most important amino acid for triggering muscle protein synthesis in aging adults. A landmark study from Tufts University found that adults over 60 require a 40% higher leucine threshold to activate muscle building compared to younger adults. Most protein sources, including many popular protein powders, do not reach this threshold in a single serving. 1 cup of cooked quinoa delivers 8.1 grams of complete protein, with a leucine content that research published in the Journal of Nutrition found sufficient to meaningfully stimulate muscle protein synthesis in adults over 65, even without resistance exercise. Let me repeat that. Even without resistance exercise. But that's only the beginning. What else quinoa does that nobody talks about? Chronic low-grade inflammation, what researchers now call inflammaging, is the primary accelerant of sarcopenia in adults over 55. It doesn't hurt, you can't feel it, but it is quietly breaking down your muscle tissue faster than your body can rebuild it. Quinoa contains 2 anti-inflammatory compounds that are almost unique to it among common grains: quercetin and chiempherol. A 2023 review in Nutrients Journal found that regular quercetin intake was associated with a 31% reduction in inflammatory markers, including IL-6 and TNF-alpha, the 2 cytokines most directly implicated in age-related muscle breakdown. Quinoa also has a glycemic index of just 53, significantly lower than white rice, 72, or white bread, 75. This matters enormously after 55 because insulin spikes accelerate muscle protein degradation. A stable blood sugar environment is not just good for energy, it's physically protective of your muscle tissue. The magnesium connection. 1 cup of quinoa contains 118 milligrams of magnesium, roughly 28% of your daily requirement. If you watched our last video on magnesium bisglycinate, you already know what magnesium deficiency does to muscle function, sleep quality, and nerve conduction in adults over 55. Quinoa isn't replacing your magnesium supplement, but it is giving your body a food-based foundation that makes everything else work better. Now, the preparation mistake I promised you. Quinoa has a natural coating called saponin. It's a bitter, soapy compound that the plant produces to protect itself from insects and birds. And here's the problem. Saponin significantly interferes with mineral absorption, particularly iron and zinc, in your gut. Most people rinse quinoa for 5 seconds under the tap and consider it done. This removes almost nothing. A 2021 study in food chemistry found that a proper saponin removal requires soaking quinoa in cold water for a minimum of 15 minutes, followed by vigorous rinsing through a fine mesh strainer for at least 60 seconds. Skip this step, and you're not only reducing the nutritional value of every bowl you eat, you're actively blocking your body from absorbing the iron and zinc that your muscles depend on for recovery and growth. Frank was not rinsing his quinoa. That was the second change we made. Within 3 weeks, his energy during his morning walks had noticeably improved. So here's the exact protocol. Soak for 15 minutes in cold water. Rinse vigorously for 60 seconds. Cook in low-sodium broth instead of water. This adds electrolytes and increases palatability. Eat 1 cup at lunch or dinner, paired with a lean protein source. Do this 5 days a week. That is Frank's protocol. That is the protocol I recommend. Quick question for you, and I read every single comment on this channel. How old are you? And have you ever tried quinoa? If yes, how were you preparing it? Drop it below. And if you have someone in your life, a spouse, a sibling, a parent, who is struggling with strength, energy, or just feeling like their body isn't what it used to be, please share this video with them. This information is in the research. Subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll see you then.